Who says a man don't hurt? Never had their heart ripped out of their shirt.
Do you cry easy?
Oh, I do. You could play an Allstate commercial where the dude's giving his wife, giving his daughter away at the wedding or something, and I'm like tearing up. You know, like,
What's the dumbest thing you spent big money on? Like where you're like, what's it? You're like, man, what did I do?
listen, I don't know if it was dumb, but I did buy a Bigfoot. Like an OG, like 1986, like
What? Monster truck?
monster truck.
Like the real one?
Yeah, the real one. Like,
No.
still has the actual old body. It ain't like the computerized Bigfoot.
What?
Yeah, and
like
so
it's got headlights, not like
I mean,
fake
you
headlights.
have to turn the head. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a truck that they took 18-wheeler tires, so they were wide enough, right, for two tires, and they created these big rubber tires like they could fit. That they didn't exist, and then they started running over cars and then flying through the air. And so I found one, like an OG, like original Bigfoot, and so I got it at the farm. But I mean, you know, it's still worth it because when you get in there, buddy, it'll change your life when you drive it. I mean, it's wow.
Tell me about the song. Give me the story behind it.
Well, man, Cry. I mean, I called my buddy Dallas Davidson. We're like best friends, you know. We're great friends, and he's, you know, written 1 billion #1 hits, you know. And but he's a great singer, and he's like, I said, man, can you come listen to all this stuff? It's me starting on the record. I said, come listen to these songs. I want to hear your take on, like, you know, I got 40 songs here, you know, and I need to get it down to a certain number to make this record. So I was like, I want to hear what you got to say about it. So we listened to a bunch of music, had a successful, cool little hangout meeting and listened to music. And he started telling me, I got this song, man, I'm thinking about putting a song out myself. I was like, really? Because I'm like, you're a great singer. Always has been, but he's just always stuck with just songwriting. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. My buddy Teddy Swims, hey, I wrote this song and Teddy loves it. And I thought, man, I just might put it out with Teddy. And I said, well, that's cool. I said, well, what song is it? He said, well, here, I'll play it for you. So he played me this song. And it was him singing, you know, the demo. I was like, you sure you don't want me to record that? Because it sounds like a smash to me. So he's like, man, go ahead, you know. So I recorded like that day. I started beating on drums with my thumb and like clapping and snapping and guitars. I just started putting the track together right then.
What was the lyric that really hit you in the song?
Man, the whole thing, I mean, honestly, I did love, who says a man don't hurt? Never had their heart ripped out of their shirt. I mean, I love that. Been lonely and down in the dirt. It's the whole idea of it, though. The guy, you know, look, man, I'll cry just because I got a tough exterior. I mean, look, man, that's good for you to do. And if you're being authentic, you know what I mean? You're having those emotions, that's okay to have. And I think I've always had the songs that like kind of say stuff that maybe guys don't know how to say or express. Like, I don't dance, or hard to love, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so it's another one of those, you know, for me.
I know you and Teddy Swims, like y'all were gonna team up. What happened there? Like,
You know,
is there something in the future?
Well, you never know. Actually, we've talked a little bit about it, but I mean, the truth is like a lot of that stuff comes down to like when you're going to do something with another artist, a lot of that really does come down to timing. Like, well, this person just put out an album, or they're going to put out an album and it's already ready to go, or they're going to put out a single, and like the timing of all those things, logistics of it ends up being sort of a end all be all, whether it's going to happen or not, especially like say right now. Or
Okay.
that. And so the timing of it really is a big aspect of that, you know, truly. If you want to know kind of a little behind the scenes of how that stuff comes together, it is all about timing. And so he was like in the middle of a cycle that was like different than where I was at and blah, blah, blah. But we've still talked about maybe doing another version of him come on. But I mean, hey, Teddy, come on, holler back at me and we'll get her done.
Stapleton was an artist that a lot of people knew about behind the scenes before he became an artist. Mm-hmm. Do you have any stories like of someone that you knew before they were not necessarily Stapleton, but someone you knew before they were big time?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them, you know. Tyler Farr was something that was really cool. You know, we were buddies, and he was just this real deal country dude, you know. And then I said, you just keep being that. And like Morgan Wallen, You know what? He was doing a showcase one time, didn't have anything going on. I mean, I think this showcase was kind of looking for a record deal kind of thing. And but I heard him playing, just a little old tootsies, just playing with a band, and I grabbed him. I said, man, I had to introduce myself. I was like, I don't know your name, and he didn't know, and he's like, oh, Lee. I said, well, man, I just want you to know. I said, you keep being yourself, keep doing your thing, and don't change that. And I got a feeling you'll have some, people are gonna love it, And we sat there for we were in Vegas actually. And we sat there in the middle of the casino just talking for like an hour. And next thing I know, he'd got a record deal and he got them cuts. And then the next thing you know, he's Morgan Wallen. But and he's still being himself, Do
you speak with him any?
I hadn't talked to him in a minute, but I saw him at there was a kind of a private birthday party thing about a year ago. We were up there and he popped in there, and Luke was there, and both Lukes were there, and everybody, and John Rich and everybody. But yeah, he's I hadn't talked to him in a minute, but he's doing well. I'm proud of him.
You ever get a chance to meet any of your heroes, and it turned out really well?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, a bunch of them, but I got to hang out a whole summer with Willie Nelson. Because I was on a tour. Me and Randy Houser and Jamie Johnson were on. It's called the Country Throwdown,
dude.
And Willie was the headliner, and us three were opening up the whole show.
You're probably still pulling weed out your beard, man.
Dude, it was so fun. We got to go hang out with him, and he's just so smart, so funny, so sweet, down to earth, talented, and still gets up there every night and rocks it. It's crazy. But most of the heroes that I had when I got to meet them, I wasn't disappointed. Merle and Charlie Daniels, sweetest human being on the planet. All that kind of stuff. Those were big ones for me.
Do you cry easy?
Oh, I do. Heck, dude, you could play an Allstate commercial where the dude's giving his daughter away at the wedding or something, and I'm tearing up. I mean, usually it's over happy stuff or in a movie, these moments of triumph, or it's usually that. Usually the sad stuff is not something that I cry about. I don't know why. Even funerals and stuff like that, I don't necessarily go that it doesn't. I guess maybe I'll wait till later. I don't know if it sinks in, but the joyful stuff is normally what or the epic moment of love coming together or something,
Okay, so I think I could drop one name. I can say one word, and I bet you cried.
What?
Rudy.
Oh yeah, buddy, Rudy. You know what I mean? Or The Notebook.
Wow, Lee Brice cries while watching The Notebook.
I mean, look, at the end, whenever they have their moment together,
yeah.
He's been trying to get her to come back, and she comes back to him for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And then she goes back away. And then they have their moment together, and it's over together. Come on.
Sounds like you should have asked him if you could act in that one, dude.